Welcome to this video where I'm just going to be explaining about how I would like you to stretch. This is based on research into a number of different areas, but also experience over the years of what I have found to be useful with the clients that I have worked with myself, and with the different groups that I have taught as well. So there are other ways to stretch, but these are my suggestions, especially if it is for an area which is causing pain or problems, or is just repeatedly niggling. So in terms of stretching when something is tight, it's one of our methods that we can use to try to help reduce the tone in the tissues. There can be other variables which could be relating to the pain, but this video is only directed at how to stretch. So in terms of holding the position of the stretch, when you go into it, I want you to almost quantify the feeling, and the feeling should not be sharp. So when you go into the stretch, if you imagine 10 as being the worst stretch sensation that you could tolerate, then I want you to try to go for a 5 or a 6. For those that are more experienced at stretching, maybe up to a 7, but a 5 or a 6 is just about half, or just slightly over half as much as you can tolerate. And that way, whenever you're holding the stretch, and it's a discomfort, a comfortable discomfort in the stretch, not pain, you're waiting for that sensation to dull down, for the number to reduce down. And when it does, then that's your cue that the muscle and the brain have accepted that it's not a threat, so it will release the tension, and that way then you'll get a sensation that the stretch has worked. But for a lot of people, that's a maintenance stretch, the first release. So what I would suggest is that you do 2 more increases within the one held stretch. So whenever you take it to that point of stretch initially to get that 5, 6, whatever it is out of 10, you hold that until it eases, but then you creep into the stretch a little bit more to bring the number back again to that 5, 6, or maybe a 7. Now once you get it to there again, you hold, you wait for it to ease. While you're holding, you can think relaxing thoughts, you can take a few deep breaths, you can try whatever feels that it's helpful for you to melt into the stretch and to accept it. Maybe that's breathing into the area where you feel the stretch, or maybe it's breathing somewhere else and directing it somewhere else can feel helpful. But again, you'll do those 3 increases. Whenever you get the final release or the final reduction in the stretch, that final release, then slowly come out of the stretch. And generally speaking, do both sides. It's good for your body and your brain to recognize the difference between both sides, and you don't want to create an imbalance. So in terms of that, targeting both sides, if you're stuck for time and one side is the particularly niggly one, then yes, you can do that single side, but don't make it a habit all the time. So if you're being able to hold that, everybody asks, how long should I hold it for? That's not the point. The point is that you're holding it until you get the message from your brain and the body that it feels like it has eased and the number has dropped. If you don't get that, you've maintained tension. So you're holding it until you get that feedback. So generally, this is more for areas that are tight. This is not warm-up advice, it's not cool-down advice. It's whenever you're doing a stretch outside of exercise per se. You may also use this, for example, in a cool down, but it's not the only method of stretching. So hopefully this gives you a little bit of an insight as to some way of stretching that's hopefully safe, and also just recognizing that if you do feel sharp pains, you always want to make sure you go short of that. So if you do get pain in an area, then you want to go short of that sensation of pain and let the body catch up with that. And you might gradually be able to increase the stretch whenever you work short of pain. So take your time. The stretches can be active or passive, and in some cases then you can develop into contract and relax stretches. But for now, this is just the basic, almost active or passive stretches, whether you're holding your body in a stretch or whether you are using the likes of a strap or anything to hold the position of that particular muscle that you're stretching, so it can relax into it. So try this. Give me some feedback in terms of any success or not that you've had. But if you have any other suggestions of videos or information that you would like, get in touch with me. Otherwise, you can access some of the videos that I have produced in terms of certain stretches for areas of the body. And again, hopefully they will be useful to you. Thanks for watching.